WTOP News Time 8:22.
Iran is now considering a partial recount of some of the disputed ballots from last week's election for president there. Word of this partial recount comes after several days of increasingly violent protests and demonstrations. Joining us live now, Arizona Senator John McCain. Senator, thank you for coming on with us this morning. Sounds like you're not all that thrilled with the Obama administration's response to the situation so far.
No, I'm not. This is kind of a replay of the old argument we used to have during the Cold War as to whether we condemn people who repress and oppress their people and openly criticize and give them some hope, or do we say, well, we have to talk and we have to accommodate. We've seen this movie before.
We've seen this movie before. We've seen uprisings in Iran before, only to be suppressed and the next revolution never to take place. Do you have any reason to believe, Senator, that at this time, with demographically now that younger group of Iranians representing the majority of the citizens there, that it may be different this time?
Well, I hope so, but this is a very, very tightly controlled country, very large secret police, very large law enforcement, if that's what you want to call them, and the Supreme Council, as we all know, which is composed of radical Muslim clerics, is in complete control. But look, we were all surprised when the Berlin Wall came down. We all knew it would. We just didn't know when it would. So it's hard to predict. But when you look at the films of this huge turnout, but the fact is that at the end of the Cold War, people like Lech Walesa and people who lived on the other side of the Berlin Wall said, we got our hope and inspiration from you, and your message that you would help us in our struggles was vital to our success. So for us to say, well, we have to be careful, and the world is watching, etc. America leads.
An editorial in the Los Angeles Times this morning makes the point that a hardline stance during the years of the Bush administration left Iran in a stronger position.
I have no information that would lead me to that conclusion. The fact is they've been controlled by radicals, so that then argues then that their harshest times was in Jimmy Carter's regime when they held Americans hostage for what was it, over 300 days. So what have we seen of this new dialogue? That's a new awakening and beginning is a completely corrupted election.
Let me ask you about health care, which we're now hearing both sides readily admit that health care is absorbing too many American dollars, and something has to be done to improve upon that. The president has some ideas. Senator Kennedy has some ideas. Where are we going with this? And do you see the prospect that Americans will, at some point in the future, actually pay less per capita for health care than we're paying now?
Well, I think it depends on whether we do the right thing or not. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, just came out with a devastating report that says that it would cost over $1 trillion. The present bill before the Health Committee would cost over $1 trillion and would leave out, I think something like 20 million people. And frankly, that's not health care reform. That's just having a government takeover of the healthcare system, and I don't think governments run many systems very well. But the point is that we've got to have reform. We got to bring costs under control, but I think that's through competition rather than having the quote government option, which will eventually, according to CBO, crowd out private health insurers.
Without predicting the exact form it would take, you think this year will be the year some reform is accomplished?
Well, I hope so, but so far it's been bitterly partisan, and that's too bad. There's not been any real negotiation between Republican and Democrat. I think that the administration probably with some, they're smart, figure that they would probably have 60 votes by picking off a couple of Republicans like they did on the stimulus package.
What do you think, Senator, when you hear around Washington discussion that Democrats are considering this idea, I wonder where it came from, that you might tax the health benefits being provided by employers as a means of financing health reform?
it's entertaining. But but I also had in our proposal, and it's a vital part of it. It's the other half of it is to give these same people who would have their employer-based health benefits taxed a $5,000, every family a $5,000 refundable tax credit, so they could go out and purchase a health insurance policy of their choice. And by the way, that would cover something like 95% of the American families that have health insurance today, and even have some money left over.
Senator, we appreciate you coming on with us this morning.
Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure, and this is a very interesting time with Iran, North Korea, the healthcare battle, the deficits, and all my years in Washington. And I think you guys would agree, it might be one of the more interesting times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We could do with some less interesting times.
Yeah. There you go. I wish you were a little duller.
Thanks,
you come
Senator.
back and visit again, Senator. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
We've got money news with Tucker Eccles of the Washington Business Journal.
And certainly interesting time.